Jamie McKibben, Outdoor Radio Show, ESPN 101.9. Welcome back, everybody. You have heard the tales of the infamous Menards buck that was found dead. Facebook post all over the place for probably the last 3 or 4 years of this giant deer, and it was found dead within the last 2 weeks. And we've got the exclusive story and the exclusive interview on the buck that they call Zeus. Jim Macknick is on the show. So I call it the Menards buck. I know it's been running around Michigan Center and your properties and so on and so forth in that area, but I think a lot of people have, seen trail pictures and pictures that have been posted on Facebook and so on and so forth. You have a lot of history with this deer, though, don't you?
Yeah, I've been feeding them probably for the last 4 or 5 years. We got 3 big apple trees in the back where they've been running around for quite some time now. See them once in a while, but people have been getting pictures. Just happened to come across the shed last year. It had 11 points on one side. This year we were brush hogging and come across the whole deer laying back there.
And this just happened like within the last couple of weeks, right? You were brush hogging, and tell me the story of that. You're brush hogging, and all of a sudden you see some bones laying there.
Yeah, well, my dad was brush hogging. I was over mowing the regular lawn, and of course he got all excited and sent me a picture and walked over, and it was laying there and kind of was blown away, really. I mean, it's not too often you see a 22-point head laying on the ground with bones and something else.
Jim, are you a hunter?
Actually, no, I really fish more than anything. I just like having them around the yard and getting my buddies all stirred up that do hunt, showing them pictures.
So nobody was really hunting the deer then?
Well, we had a friend of the family that was, but I don't think he spent much time back there. He bought a piece of land also and spent more time on his own land. But I know that there's a few guys around down by Menards and between where I'm at. I'm kind of between Menards and Ballard Road. There's a power line that runs through there. So he's been making his rounds.
Yeah.
They nicknamed him Zeus.
Yeah,
cool. So he was pretty notorious already.
That's a pretty sweet name for a deer like that. How many points did it have when you found it?
22.
Wow. Unreal. And I know there's been pictures floating around of this thing online, so I wanted to, you're a friend of a friend of a friend, so I said, well, let's get him on the radio and let's talk about it a little bit. When did you first, see it and know that it was special? How many years ago did it show up on your property and you said, oh, my gosh?
Well, I've seen 5 or 6 bucks underneath them apple trees, probably 20 yards from the house. When I get up in the morning and drink a coffee, they're right there. And 2 years ago, I found the right side shed, and it had 11 points on it. So I knew we had a big boy in the area.
What'd you think then? Did you start telling some people about it, or?
Well, not really. I mean, I worked with a guy that collected sheds, and I showed him, and he about couldn't talk when I sent him the picture after he called me. There's some guys are really heavily into it. Like I said, I fish, so I didn't really think that much myself.
Mm-hmm.
But I see them out there all the time, so it was really not surprising for me.
Any idea what this thing, there's a lot of guys that would understand what this deer might score?
Well, I've had a couple guys score. One scored at 214 and one scored at 220.
Yeah.
So we're going to take it to Calderones and let the guy at Calderones check it out tomorrow and let him score. I'd like to get into something official on it, really.
Yeah. Oh, they'll be good at it. I just, I've always wondered, what do you do with something that big? Once you find it or you shoot it, I mean, that's a cool trophy no matter which way you look at it. You hear rumors that Cabela's will buy it or Bass Pro Shop will buy it or whatever.
I've had guys already offer me money, but my dad hunts all over the world, and he's got a trophy room up in one of our barns, so I was just going to stick it on a nice piece of driftwood and put it up with all the rest of the stuff he's got in there.
There you go. But you don't hear about a buck getting to be 220 inches very often in Jackson County. I think it's sort of bittersweet. I think, wouldn't it be cool if somebody would have got it? But then again, I think, man, it's pretty cool that deer lived its life out.
Yeah, well, we haven't let anyone hunt back there until the last year, so they've had good 10, 12 years to do their thing. Without anyone really bothering them out. We got like 50 acres there. Now, they run that whole power line, but there's more. He's not the only one.
Oh, you've seen some other ones?
Oh, yeah.
Cool. That just goes to show you, if you kind of let deer age, how big they can actually get.
Yup, exactly. Give them time to grow.
Unreal. Any signs? I had heard some rumors. You hear a lot of rumors about how maybe that deer might have been wounded last fall. Did anybody ever come forth and say, yeah, we got a crack at that thing, but we didn't, we never got it?
No, but a guy over behind Menards had a picture, a couple of them, and he was always standing on his right front leg, and it looked like from one picture that I could see that his left knee was kind of swelled up and bent kind of funny. So, the way them things fight. Now, the horns had 4 or 5 of the tips broke off, so I'd say he was out there battling.
Mm-hmm.
I got a picture with about 4 bucks underneath one of our trees all hanging together, so he had some combatants out there with him running around.
When do you think it died? Do you think it died before winter and it was in the field all winter long?
I think it happened after the first of the year. I mean, the bones were pretty clean. There was no hair around or nothing, but there's quite a few coyotes back there, too, so not that I could see any chew marks on any of the bones, but it's kind of hard telling.
Typically, when you find sheds or you find a deer like that, especially in the field, mice or squirrels or something have chewed up the horns, and they didn't look like they were, I just saw the picture, but they didn't look like they were chewed up at all.
No, the horns are in pretty good shape, except for some of the tips broke off. Pretty thick back there. It's kind of hard to tell. I don't know that much about how long they last before they're decomposed down to nothing but bones, but.
I'd be curious to know how old that sucker is, too. You probably have some kind of idea because you've been watching it so long. But I
would say at least 5 or 6 years.
Yeah.
At least.
Yeah. Maybe even more like 7 or 8.
Yeah, it could be.
Well, the cool thing is that thing's been running around breeding other does for the last quite a few years, so his genes are still in the area.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, there's I got a picture of about 4 does that were swelled up, and they were looking to have fawns here early this spring, so a lot of deer running around back in there.
Well, you'll have to let me know if that deer is ever on display or anything like that. We do an outdoor expo at the radio station in the winter, or if you're going to put it at Calderone's, or if you
tell me when and where, and I'll let you hang on to it. It's something to hold.
Oh, man,
it's different looking at the pictures, but when you hang on to it, it's impressive.
Man, I'd love to hold. I've been able to take a couple of nice bucks in my life, but never anything like that. I'd just, I'd be in seventh heaven just being able to hold it and check it out. I'd love to do that sometime.
Be glad to share it with you.
All right, that's cool. Hey, before I let you go, let's talk about something that you're into, fishing. Where do you fish? What do you like to fish for?
Well, it just depends on the time of the year. We do a lot of bluegill fishing in the spring, and then kind of switch to bass. Until, they get deep and the water gets warmer. I got a friend that I fish with, Jeff Flannery, a couple times a week. I just happen to have a stock pond that my father tends to in the back, and that's got some 5 to 6 pound bass in it. It's been growing for quite a while, so whatever's biting, we're going after it.
You guys like to grow them big, don't you?
Oh, yeah.
Pretty cool
we
stuff.
feed them every day, so.
Nice.
Been in there for quite a while.
Jim, thanks for telling the story.
Thank you.
There you go. That's Jim Macknick, the end of a legend, the Menards buck, Zeus, found dead within the last couple of weeks. They think it's going to score about 220 inches, found near Michigan Center.